Hey, what is up YouTube? This is my 2019 State of the Collection video where I'm going to give you an update on where I am with my collection. So my collection has changed vastly from where it was last year, and I think I've improved it a bit and also diversified a bit. So right now let's jump right in, and we're going to start from the very top with the watches of most sentimental value and talk about my favorites. Okay, so first up is what I consider to be my most prized earthly possession, my 1974 Omega Speedmaster Pro. This is my birth year watch, and being a huge space and Apollo nerd growing up, this was a must-have for me. It's 45 years young this year, and just look at that amazing patina on the dial and hands. It's truly beautiful. This is a Rolex Datejust from 1971 with a non-luminous dial. This watch was purchased by my dad in Hong Kong in 1972. He rarely wore it except on special occasions, and as far as I know, it's never been serviced yet, and still somewhat working okay. I do need to manually wind it for it to start ticking, so admittedly it probably needs to be serviced, which I plan to do later this year. This one I got reacquainted with it and reunited with it last year. Next is my IWC Big Pilot, which serves as both a watch and a clock on my nightstand. I just love this big watch. I flew out to Philly to pick it up, and it was my first 5-figure watch that I've ever purchased. After this one, I knew I was into this watch hobby thing really deep, because as I was making the purchase, as I was flying back home, I thought to myself, what are you doing and how much are you spending on this thing? I bought the Submariner to celebrate a new career milestone when I made it to Vice President. So as one does when making it to VP, I ran out and brought my first Rolex. When I think of the word watch, I immediately think of Rolex, and in my head, I think of Submariner. In my opinion, this is the most iconic watch out there today. Here is my Rolex Daytona. This is the newest one to my collection, just getting it over a little bit over 2 months ago, and it has dominated most of my wrist time since. I absolutely love the white Panda dial, well, almost Panda dial, and the 4130 movement ticking inside. Currently, right now, it is the crown jewel of my collection. Here's the classic GMT-Master 2 with the aluminum Pepsi bezel, with the serial dating back to about 2006, maybe 2007. And it has a little bit of extra oomph inside. If you look really close, and maybe a little bit closer than that, you're gonna notice the 2 sticks instead of the Roman numeral 2 on the dial. And while it's not confirmed yet, I think that this might have the 3186 movement inside. I'm not 100% positive, but I'll know for sure when I have it serviced next and they open up the watch. Here's yet another Speedmaster, and yeah, I really love the Speedmaster, so I have 2. It was originally born as a regular Speedmaster, but I modified it with a Mitsukoshi Panda dial, broad arrow hands, and a stainless steel bezel, all OEM factory Omega parts. And this one was one of my first nice watches that I've ever bought, and really got me into this hobby to begin with. And speaking of watches that got me into this hobby, my very first watch was an Omega Seamaster Pro. This one is not that, but it is the latest 2018 edition, and in my opinion, the best model yet. The dial is stunning. And if you haven't looked at my Seamaster Pro video, there's a link that I'm gonna throw up there on top, so you guys can take a look for more close-ups of the dial in different conditions. And the movement is arguably one of the most advanced 3-hand movements out there. Next up with this one, you gotta cue Danger Zone with the Pilot Chronograph Top Gun. IWC pioneered the use of ceramics and titanium in watches, and these two materials really come together nicely in this watch. And most of all, just look at this super cool case back with the Top Gun logo. Immediately, this is one of the big reasons why I bought this watch. I really got the need for speed with this one.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
Okay, I'm sorry, that was kind of corny, so let's move on. Here's my self-modified SKX009. Everyone, in my opinion, needs to have a Seiko, and here's mine. I modified this one myself, and very proud of that fact, by the way. I stained the dial and hands with coffee, yes, coffee, bleached the bezel with Clorox, and I quote-unquote vintage-sized the case by throwing it into a bag of rocks and shaking it all about for a few minutes. And I must say the results are excellent. Here's my Bond Seamaster 300 on the Omega Bond NATO strap. And I think a lot of you guys will recognize this watch from the Spectre movie, although this is not the Spectre special edition, but close enough. The cool thing about this one is that it has all the vintage looks with modern technology, and on the strap itself, it has a very subtle nod to 007 on one of the metal keepers. Tudor is quickly becoming what Rolex once was, a no-nonsense tool watch, and this Black Bay 58 is the embodiment of that. The 58 is the flagship Black Bay model in my opinion, and it is one of the best modern vintage inspired reissues around. Since my collection is focused entirely or mostly on sports watches, you're probably thinking to yourself by now, where is the Royal Oak or the Nautilus? Well, since I don't have any of those, at least not yet, I do have one of them on order, the Royal Oak. I'm not gonna be here for 5 years, but that's okay. This is the next best thing with real Gerald Genta pedigree, the IWC Ingenieur Laureus edition with blue dial. I really love all of the different angles and details of the case. It's just beautiful. Another great sports watch that I have is the Defy Classic. This one is very light since it's made out of titanium and has a stunning blue sunburst dial and shimmering bracelet that dances in the light. Here is my Rolex Explorer 1, the latest version with the lume on the numerals and longer, better proportioned hands. And my favorite feature on this watch is the fantastic lume, which I'm going to show a photograph of now. This cool all-red G-Shock 5600 series was given to me last year by my son for Father's Day. I totally love this thing, completely different than what I have from my other watches. And making a very special appearance in this video is my son's favorite toy, his Spider-Man. He asked me if I can put Spidey in one of my videos, so this one is for you, kid. So this is a Go G-Shock, and you're thinking, what in the world is this? This one, in my opinion, is the ultimate dichotomy between G-Shock, which is probably arguably one of the ultimate throw-around tool watches that's out there, and full metal gold, which is just speaks of luxury. And the two surprisingly work very well together. And if you're still with me by now, you're probably gonna need a drink. And here's the cocktail time to have a drink with. It's just a very inexpensive Seiko and proof that you don't need to spend a lot to get a really nice watch. All right, almost done here at number 19. I am really honestly torn about this guy, the Lunar Pilot watch. Kind of looks like the original one that David Scott used during Apollo 15, but at the same time, it's really not. Bulova upsized this quite a bit from the original, and the movement is completely different. At the same time, the Speedmaster is still largely unchanged from 50 years ago. So I think the jury is still out on this one, if it's going to be a keeper or not. And last but not least is an Apple Watch Series 1. Yes, it's a smartwatch. Yes, I do wear it often while working out. And it has Mickey on the dial. And how can you not love Mickey? Everyone loves Mickey Mouse. All right, so there you have it. This is my current state of the collection in 2019. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to do something a little bit different with some of the different sequence shots and photography mixed in. So if you guys did enjoy it, please don't hesitate to leave a like. You can comment, ask me any questions, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!